Hello plant lovers and welcome to my channel once again, and just look at this beauty here. True confession, I have only just bought this, but I had to share because it's still in bloom and there is a spike here and it's so gorgeous that I thought, let's make a video even though I know nothing about its care yet because it's still new to me. But never mind, we can learn together. Firstly, its name. Now here's the thing, plant lovers, that once again I was in my favorite nursery just having a little look around to see what was going on, and there I saw this, and the flower just struck me as being really unusual, and I'll come in and show you. It's got these beautiful dark brown speckles on a basically yellow and gold flower, an extraordinary thing. And the tag said Oncidium alliance, which I always think is some subgroup of the Star Wars trilogy, but it clearly isn't Oncidium alliance. But anyway, I bought it, and after a little bit of research managed to find out that it is called Brassada Mivada, and it is a hybrid between a Brassia, which you can see from those spidery shaped flowers, and an orchid called Ada, ADA, which I'll put the name below, which is a very similar and related orchid to the Brassia, which is endemic to Nicaragua. So the two were brought together with love and harmony in, I think, about 20 years ago to create this new plant completely, which is really beautiful. The flowers have no fragrance, but it's really about their form and the color, which is just extraordinary. And you can get a sense of just how big those flowers are in comparison to my hand, and that's what drew me to it. Now, it, I think, will take most of the characteristics of Brassia and Ada. I'm going to call it Ada. It might be Ada, but let's say it's Ada. In that they are intermediate. I would actually say cool to intermediate. So I am, when this is finished flowering, going to let it ride out the rest of the summer outdoors here in Melbourne, which is where I live, and I'll show you where that is right now. A temperate climate with cold winters that don't freeze and often hot, dry summers. My outdoor area is covered over the top so it doesn't get rained on and gives gentle filtered light. So it's perfect for orchids, even though I'm in a rental and we won't be here forever, but never mind. So I'm going to let this baby ride out the rest of summer when the flower spikes have finished, and then I'm going to bring it indoors because I don't think it's going to relish temperatures which are below about 10 degrees centigrade, which let's say is around 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to let it winter indoors. Like Brassia, it likes intermediately strong filtered light, so nothing too strong, nothing direct, obviously. Pretty standard as far as it goes. I'm hopeful that it's not going to be too high maintenance. I have read that it can bloom twice in a year, which is fantastic. And as you can see, this one has a second flower spike here, which is just waiting to burst into action. Both the parents are epiphytes. Sometimes the Ada has been recognized as lithophytic, but generally let's say they're epiphytes, as are most orchids, which means once again, loose medium. Now, plant lovers, this is a true confession. I haven't repotted this yet because it's in bloom, so it's in a plastic pot. Oh. But when the flowers have finished, I will repot it in terracotta because I'm a terracotta pot kind of guy. I just prefer them aesthetically. Free draining, I will keep a loose mix with a little bit of bark, with a little bit of charcoal, with a little bit of perlite, the usual kind of light aerated mix for orchids. The same mix really I would use for an Oncidium, for a Miltoniopsis, really most of those sorts of orchids. The same you'd use for Brassia, in fact, why not? Both the parent species don't have a rest season, and this hybrid can flower twice in a year, so I am not going to give it a winter rest. Obviously though, as with most orchids, ease off on the watering in winter, which is what I'm going to do, and the fertilizing, and just increase that again gently in spring, but I don't really know yet because I haven't had it that long. The only other observation to make is that the flower spikes come out of a new growth, which I will come in and show you. Both of these babies, both this spike that's about to open and the open one, have come out of a new growth. So, plant lovers, as with most other orchids then, it is quite important, clearly with Brassada, to be stimulating new vegetative growth as much as you can to enable new flower spikes every year. Hopefully, it'll prove to be a vigorous grower. So I guess the moral of the story is to always have a poke about in your local flower shop or nursery shop, wherever you might find orchids sold, and just see if something has a dying flower spike and the orchid's discounted, or it's just generically labeled but looks interesting. nothing ventured, nothing gained. Give it a whirl. So that's what I did with this one. Turns out it is going to be perfectly suited to my conditions here in Melbourne. It's a really beautiful flower, really unusual. I have nothing that's quite so spidery, and certainly nothing in this extraordinary golden yellow. So I'm very excited about that. Let's hope I can make it survive and flourish here in Melbourne. There we are, plant lovers. Brassada Mivada, a new hybridized megamix of two different species which has produced this. I imagine it's got the best characteristics of both its parents, as all good children should have. And I'm looking forward to making it thrive and grow. As you can see, it's got a very healthy root system, which is always the 101 for an orchid, really, because plant lovers, as we know, plant health is really all about root health. What is really important is what's going on below the soil, not what's going on above it. Because without healthy roots, you're not going to get healthy growth, and without that, the plant is not going to be able to resist disease and pests, nor will it really have the urge to flower well for you. There we are, plant lovers. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking if you so desire. I try and post once a week of orchids or other rare and interesting plants that I'm managing to grow here in Melbourne. Let's see how I go with this. I will do a follow-up if I make it survive and if I get it to flower again at some point. As they say, it blooms twice a year. We will see. But until that point, looking forward to seeing you next week with something else. Until then, plant lovers, take care.